Hello guys, let's discuss a bit more about the functions we have been discussing since the past few videos. Um, so now we know that we can have a function to which we can pass some arguments, do some operations with those arguments, and also a way for us to control if we want to ensure that those arguments are not or should not be modified. So now I'm going to bring in a different scenario wherein along with having these integer variables, I'm going to bring in some string variables. So let's call them as variable 1, and to which I will assign some value. Um, let's say hello, and also I am going to create one more string variable which I will name it as world. Okay. So now instead of for this particular function itself, instead of passing these integers, I will pass these variables, and let's see what will happen. Okay. So we have variable 1 and variable 2, and let me save. So the moment I do that, I see some errors over here. So if I hover, it says no suitable conversion from std string to constant integer. So what's happening here is that this particular function that we have defined, it's kind of tightly coupled with a constant integer data type. So you cannot pass some other data type to this particular function. There will be some scenarios, so what will happen now that if you wanted to pass these string variables to this particular function and do exactly this, you're not going to do something else, something different, but the only thing is that you, instead of passing the integers, you wanted to pass string and do exactly what you were doing here, that you wanted to tell you received so and so arguments. So what we can do for that is that we can get rid of this um, integers, and instead of that we can specify them to be strings, um, and we can rename this particular function, although there is another concept with respect to the function overloads and such things. So we will get into that in some other video when we get very specific to the object-oriented programming and those aspects. So for now, what how we can solve our problem is that I can use the function 2 instead of function 1, and it should still work for me. So let's see if this is successful, if we are able to achieve what we intended to. And yeah, there you go. I wanted to pass strings instead of integers, and I wanted to do the exact same thing. So what I did is I created another function, gave it a different name, and just changed the parameters, and it works. Now, instead of string, there will come another scenario wherein you want to pass something else. You want to, let's say, pass a float. You want to pass some Boolean variables. So the problem is that in scenarios wherein you want to do the exact same thing, the same set of operations inside a function, just that the arguments are going to be different in different occasions, it doesn't make sense to go on defining a lot of functions which exactly do the same thing internally, but the only thing varying in terms of them is the arguments. So this is one scenario wherein you can bring in something called as a template. So what the template does is that it helps you retain just one particular function and still get the job done. So what we will have to do for that is that we have to tell this is going to be a template type name, and we just give a generic data type to it. So instead of telling integer, now we will tell t. That's all. Okay. Yep. And what we're going to do now is instead of function 2, we'll still say function 1 itself. And let's call both. Let's see what will happen. I don't think we need this because we're not going to modify anything over there. So um, what I could do is kind of um, invoke the strings as well as invoke the integers as arguments. So let's see what will happen in this case. So we have brought in templates right now. I think the only additional thing that I will have to do um, is that I will have to tell. Okay, let's compile and see if that's really needed. Nope, not needed. And there you go. So in the first case, what's happening is that I passed the two string arguments to the same function. And if I see the output, it says received arguments. Argument 1 is hello, argument 2 is world. And I invoked the same function again, but this time instead of passing the strings, I passed a different data type, which is the integers. And it still works fine. So we just have one single function that can either take an integer or it can take a string or any other data type. It's kind of now made to be generic, and this is the use of templates. We will see more instances of this when we get into the object-oriented programming in terms of the class and those aspects. But this is a good start. This is the way for you to know that there is something called as templates that you can use when you want to make things a bit generic and avoid yourself from repeating the same set of code again and again and again just because the arguments are different. So yeah, this is what I wanted to convey in this particular video. Let's meet in the next video.